and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the GFreak Speaks podcast. Today, episode number 36. And I'll tell you what, we've got a good episode coming up. It's quite exciting. It's making me going from 6 to 12 real quick. But I just wanted to let you guys know that this podcast can be found on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, and audioboom.com/Jacko GFreak. So make sure to leave a rating, titty smack that like button, and leave some comments below on the YouTube channel for the visuals. But today we're joined by Dan Gorringe. Welcome. How you doing, buddy?
Mate, I am well. Thank you for having me on. I'm a fan from afar, and now I'm a fan from within, and also on your show, mate. So thank you for having me.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure. Also, I forgot to actually mention before that if you guys do want to sponsor the podcast, slide into the DMs.
Mate, I'll sponsor a podcast. This one if you want.
It only takes $1. Your dollar can go a long way, ladies and gentlemen, just listening, okay? But, dude, what's going on, bro? How you doing? You going well?
Well, I'm good. Things are good. Things are, I think everyone's just still trying to get back into some normal routine post-COVID. So things are good. Things are back up and running. Semi-back to normal with, you know, what I was doing pre-COVID and work and podcasting and footy stuff. So things are good, mate. I can't complain too much at the moment.
That's good, mate. That's good. A lot of weight lifted off your shoulders and whatnot. You're a bit of a free bird, which is great. Let the latissimus dorsis just fly in the air, mate. But look, man, this is the big question. Who are you today?
Who am I today?
Who are you today, mate?
That's a great question. I've never been asked that.
There we go.
Unbelievable.
What's first, mate?
You know what?
Happens on the
Someone asked me that the other day. They said, no, sorry, my friend said that. I asked that to my friend. I said, who, are you? Just generally, who are you? And he goes, I'm literally my next notification on my phone. And I thought that was the most wise thing I've ever heard. It's kind of true. You literally are the next notification on your phone. So who am I today? I'm an idiot, number one. Still, I'm definitely that. I'm a footy head. I'm a fiance. I love my dog. I'm a dog lover. I'm a people lover. So I'm a business owner now as well with Sippy the beer. So I'm Daniel Gorringe. I've got a lot of different facets to me, and a lot of things that I'm invested in, and a lot of things I'm interested in. So I'm a bit I'm a bit of a jack of all sorts at the moment, mate. I've got things in the works everywhere.
Utility, mate. Utility.
Yeah, I'm a utility. Like a utility, mate, in football. I just go wherever I'm needed and
go where you
work
want.
Wonders wherever that is.
Go there, slap your hands together, do something, make something fucking happen, get the ball rolling.
See, I try to make something happen, but normally I just end up fucking it up more. So.
Let's jump into a bit of Sippy Lager. So where did the inspiration for that all begin? When was your first thought?
It's sort of the most iconic idea ever. You and your mates just have a couple of beers and you think you're the best businessman in the world. You think you can take over the world and beat all these big dogs and big companies. But that's actually it. Me and my mate, my good mate Nick Graham, we were at the pub and we were just drinking beers, and we just, after a couple, said, why not? Why can't it be us? Why can't we start our own beer company? Why can't we ever dream or have the dream of coming to the pub and ordering our own beer? And through the stuff that, I've been lucky enough to get a bit of a following over the last 3 or 4 years with what I've done. And why not try and use that following to pull that into something that I also love, which is my beer, and get other people to enjoy my beer as much as I do. So that was where it came from. And we launched last month. 13 days we sold out, which was unbelievable. So we're in production again for a release next month. But yeah, never in my wildest dreams I think it would grow this quickly. I was probably super naive actually going into it. If I knew then what I know now about how much it takes to start it up, I would have never have done it.
Really?
It is fucking wild, mate.
Yeah.
It's not I think a lot of people think you can just, I have an idea, I'll start a beer and I'll start selling it. But there is so many licenses you need to pass all these tests, sit exams to be able to produce
Sit
BSL,
exams.
BSO. Yeah, so my business partner Nick had to sit in like my business partner had to sit in the 4 hour like classroom and pass his tests, and it was like all about the safety of serving alcohol, like wild stuff, all the boring stuff. So, yeah, it's been fun though. It's definitely been fun.
Yeah, fair enough, man. So he obviously copped the short end of the stick then, the shit end, the shit stick. Cop
Mate,
that.
literally, I was like, I just want to do the fun stuff, which is like the marketing and try and get as much hype as I can. You can do like all the boring logistics shit because I know that's not me.
Yeah, yeah, it just wouldn't work well if you're doing something you know this is not going to go well. And also, it didn't sound like the business partner had much of a choice either.
No, zero. It was more told. I was like, mate, we're 50-50, but fuck me, you're doing all the numbers.
You're doing all the shit, okay, mate? I'll get the
Literally, you're doing
sales. Do you,
100%. You
do
do
you
all
ever
the
say
boring
to him?
stuff.
Do you ever say to him how many Instagram followers does your Instagram page have, mate?
Well, the funny thing is, his name's Nick Graham. He played footy for Carlton. And whenever we do like promo events or giveaways and stuff, he always says that we can include him as like the bait. I'm like, mate, I love you, but I don't think people are gonna bite on the prize of the giveaways if we include you. So as much as I love you, just let me do my thing and let me run with it.
What a piss! I think I have heard of Nick Graham before. Who did you used to play for?
Played for Carlton, so he was there for maybe I'm gonna get it wrong, 5 years, I think.
Okay,
Played almost 50 games. So yeah,
there we
Nick
go.
Graham is a good man. Good
Okay,
numbers.
good numbers, good numbers, good man. We love that. But look, man, moving on from that, Sippy Lager. It's good to see it, come to life and whatnot. And I remember I was asking you about how long it took to decide a flavor and all that type of stuff. But like doing an exam and all these licenses, it really is. It does seem like a bit of a head fuck. It gets a little bit mixy over there, man. Like for a
It's
lager,
crazy, man.
it's insane. Just for like an
Crazy.
RSA, but who would have thought, bro? Who would have
Mm.
thought? But let's rewind a little bit back to the draft when you were drafted.
Mhm. Yeah.
When, what are you laughing at?
I just like it just was like such a long time ago, the draft. Like
Wait,
I
when
know
was
it's a
it?
massive part of my I was drafted in 2010.
2010. Shit, man. Okay, I
Mm.
was in like
Yeah.
what was I in? I was in like grade 8. I was about I was 14 years old. Yeah, okay.
Wow. You
There
make me
we
feel
go.
so old, man. Thank you.
So 2010, you obviously come through the junior ranks and absolutely, obviously smashing it to go a top 10 pick. What was the pressure externally coming from your friends, family, and whatnot that you felt to perform and really go at a high draft pick?
Yeah, it was pretty extreme. I think for my personal experience, you play footy because you just love it and you enjoy spending the weekends with your mates and running around for 2 hours. And then all of a sudden, as you get to that age, 17, 18, people start telling you how good you are and the possibilities of what you can do with your skill and ability. And then obviously you start talking to AFL managers who come and scout you and want you to sign with them. And then it just snowballs into next minute you blink and you're at the AFL draft being picked up. So the pressure only, I think for me, started I was about to get drafted when I was 17, 18, leading in the draft. I didn't really care too much. It was more just, yeah, I'm playing good footy, but whatever happens, happens. Then the pressure came and I actually did get drafted from the Suns or to the Suns. And I just felt internally like my whole way I felt about footy changed within the first couple of months of being an AFL club. Like it went from being fun to totally like I'd hate it. Like I'd get massive anxiety about going to training. I'd hate playing the games. And unfortunately, the pressure from supporters, the club, other people like that, it does mount. And it'd be great if for these kids and these superstars who are 300 game players, they come in and start dominating, like you see now. Like it's unbelievable for the 90% of other players who probably had my experience. It's not a great feeling, but you do it because you get paid a decent whack of money and you're really good at it. Even if you aren't playing consistent senior footy, you're still good at what you do. So yeah, the pressure, I felt the pressure all the way through. The only time I felt no pressure was when I was 18 and my last day of footy of when I called it quits. So,
Yep.
in saying that, I loved it. Like I'd do it, would I do it again in a heartbeat, 100%? But yeah, it's definitely not what everyone thinks it is.
Yeah. Okay. So dealing with how did you deal and overcome with that anxiety and the pressure of turning something that you thought that you loved into something that is actually felt like a chore?
Yeah, it's I think I started. It wasn't really spoken about this. Now it definitely is more spoken about. Mental health and talking about how you're feeling to someone, and being open to do that. And it's more acceptable socially, I think, now. But when I was going through it, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it is, it probably wasn't something that people spoke about too much. I know we didn't really have a psych at the footy club like they do now. So I just did the worst thing, or probably what most males do predominantly, is I just bottled everything up and didn't tell anyone. And that was the worst thing I could have done. I just thought if I keep pushing it down and keep rocking up to training, then it'll go away. But as these things do, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually that bottle that you put it all in breaks. So I remember at Carlton, I said something the first time. So this is 7 years into my career, so 7 years of bottling, and I finally said something and just broke down, and I had to take a leave of absence from the footy club, and then came back and finished off the season, but I didn't really want to, so I struggled massively with it. But I know footy clubs now, and I have mates who still play, that's the number one, or on the priority list at least, for players that are in the system now and kids coming through.
So how did you or do players nowadays, if deal with pressure of people saying, oh, well, they're getting a good amount of cash, just suck it up and fucking go for it, mate. Head over the ball.
It's a fucking, yeah. Well, it's a fucking cop out. Like I hear it all the time. I'm on Twitter and on socials, and you see the comments and stuff. It's an absolute fucking cop out. Like, I know I fully understand it's crazy to actually comprehend that these people who are getting paid unbelievable money to play football, like to literally chase a ball, could ever feel like that. So I fully get that, but unless you've experienced it, you know what it's like. So I don't really feel like you can comment about it too much in depth. So I know the players now, they're a lot better at keeping everything in their own bubble. So if their bubble is just their family, or it's a footy club, or it's a combination of both, they just stay in their bubble. But like anything, if you hear it enough or you see it enough, especially in Melbourne with footy, you start reading into it. So it's a delicate balance of, staying in your own bubble, in your own lane, and only listening to those around you and consuming what you think's valuable from the outside in. But it's super tough, like super difficult.
Understandable. And you've got a lot of passionate supporters that, like, they can be your biggest fans, but then they are absolutely your biggest enemy if you fuck up or you kick the ball off the side of the boot by, I don't know, 10 degrees or something like that, mate. They just absolutely fucking come for your nutsack and just beat the fuck out of you. So to deal with that pressure, it would be pretty tough. And like, you played 24 games, was it?
24, 20, yeah, something like, yeah. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Not many, mate. That's how good I was.
But even then, like, you just cop that. You get a little bit of a glimpse over the 7 years or however long you were in the system for, that you've got these guys just coming through your throat and like, oh, what are we doing paying him? And, what are we still keeping on the salary for, and blah, 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 and whatnot. At what point for you, when you were later in your career, did you realize, shit, man, this is time for me to hang up the boots and whatnot? And my second question is that when you did that, how much pressure did you feel when you actually had to hang up the boots, knowing that your income is going to change and you may impact your family and your partner and your relationship going on there?
Yeah. Well, I think I definitely knew. So I got sacked from the Gold Coast in 2015, so delisted, which means, they do the list every year, and if you're not good enough to stay on the list, they just say, see you later, thanks for everything. So I knew then when that was happening, I knew it was going to happen. And I knew then internally that it was probably time for me to get out while I could. But to your second point there, I wasn't ready financially to do that. And I knew that I'd still have an opportunity to go somewhere else and try and put the things in place that would set me up post-footy. So, but selfishly, maybe, I went to Carlton. And with saying that, I actually found a bit of passion when I went to Carlton. A new scenery, new players, a new lease of football life. So that actually gave me a bit of fire to get back into footy for that 1 year. And then unfortunately, I just went back into a bit of a rut emotionally, and the anxiety and stuff came back. And that's when I had that breakdown I spoke about before. But it's super tough. Like, unless you have things in place to be able to set up that next phase of your life, it's super difficult to come out of it. And it's super difficult to make that call because it's just the fear of the unknown. So while everyone else was out at uni studying and then doing work experience, and now, years into a new career, I was just playing footy in a bubble and wasn't able to do any study or anything like that. So it's tough to make the call because you don't have anything else planned or anything lined up. So it was super tough, and super tough in relationships. Like, all the relationships you have revolve around footy. So as soon as that core thing goes, that everything revolves around that. It's there's massive fallouts in terms of friends and relationships and all that. So it's it's just a huge part of the AFL lifestyle.
Absolutely. Here's a question that I've always wondered, because I've never been in the position myself. How do we structure this one?
Just go for it.
Yeah, I am. I'm just trying to get it so then, I can clip it nicely. Okay. So it's quick on my end. Okay. So growing up, you have a lot of, you generally always have your core group of friends that you have. You have about 5 to 10 or whatever in high school and whatnot. And then you get drafted. Then a lot of fakies come out of the woodworks. I know him. He's my best mate, all this type of shit. How many clinger runners were there, and how could you distinguish that and kind of like have a clear mind and read between the lines with all the hype going on around the drafting and your status as a player?
Yeah, it's tough. I think, as soon as you come through school, when it's like a typical like American high school jock thing, like I hate it, but it's kind of the way it is. You're a footy player at a high school, and everyone thinks you're the bee's knees, and it's in reality it's not anything like that. You just literally chase a footy, and you're kind of good at it. But there are a lot of people that want to go for a ride with you, and whether that be something little from getting entry to a nightclub, or telling people that they're your best mates, and they do an interview with someone in the paper. It's pretty hard to pick up on who is actually going to be in your team and your side, and who's just there for a free ride. So but I think that you work that out over time, like any relationship, whether it be in me with footy or anyone in life. I think that really became prevalent though when things hit the fan. So when all the shit hit the fan, and it wasn't going smoothly, you definitely then it was very clear of, okay, who are my real friends? Who am I going to continue to go through the shit times now? And that became clear when all the shit stuff happened. But like I said, when things are going good, everyone wants to go for a ride and take as much as they can and get as much as they can out of you.
Yeah, everyone's always about the take and whatnot. And I know him, and I'm best friends with him. And, we had a sleepover once back in primary school in like grade 2, like shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, my mum tried to
touch me.
Yeah. He broke my collarbone at local footy.
Yeah. He fucking tackled me and broke my back in under 9s.
His mum fixed my back in the hospital whilst he broke shit like that.
So he broke my back and his mum fixed my back. I know the family.
They didn't invite me over for dinner though, so I'm spewing.
No.
I asked you a question the other day, which I found extremely funny. And it was because we're working like right now. We're working closely with Jeff Walsh, and he's the man, I guess, when it comes to football. And I asked you who's the equivalent at Gold Coast and Carlton when you were there. Could you just give us like a recap of how it was at Gold Coast when you had the equivalent like of Rodney Eade, and then same as for Carlton with Sticks and whatnot?
Yeah, it's pretty intimidating. You don't ever come across these personalities often in life. I don't think. Like, there's certain people you meet who are, and it's great. They are direct, straight at you, and are no bullshit. Like that is, and that's fine. That's great. You need those people, but sometimes those people that are like that haven't dealt with people who have never ever experienced that. So the messaging and the way it's interpreted can get totally, totally lost. So for me at Gold Coast, when I was 18 and you're being told, as we said about before, how good you are at footy and you're the bee's knees and everyone's saying, you know, how unreal you are, to then go into an AFL system and Rocket Eden's there and he tells you, you are absolutely shit. Like, you will not be playing this year. Like, it's a massive reality check. And kids, like, I was a kid, like, it's just like, holy shit, like, mum, he just said I'm shit, and I think he means it. Like, like, you were telling me I'm good, so either you're lying or he's lying. Now,
Yeah.
which one is it?
Yeah.
But it's good. It definitely straightens you up, and it's good character building. Like, for me, to be told the truth, like, you are generally not good at footy and you need to prove in this area, you need it. And learning that early as an 18, 19, 20-year-old at a footy club has just held me in amazing stead going forward now in business. Like, you need to just cut the shit out and tell people how it is sometimes. And yeah, now, you know, you and I, we do some stuff with Walshy, and to have those open, honest chats where you literally just don't beat around the bush, like, it's unbelievable. But as I said, it's super scary.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. And I can imagine, like, look, myself, I'm definitely a straight shooter. I knew that coming into this office environment that I was probably too straight, and people just kind of couldn't handle it. So I had to kind of tone it back a little bit because people just got offended. I don't know why, but anyway, moving on from that. Shit. Straight into the point. You know, not being around the bush is good. And I think that that's something that a lot of people do kind of lack nowadays, with everyone getting a participation trophy and a fourth ribbon and all that type of shit, man. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, when you and I have kids one day, mate, I swear to God, if my kid comes home with a fucking fourth ribbon, mate, what the fuck? Leave that on the track, mate.
Literally, just bring home a participation trophy and we'll drop kick that trophy over the fucking house. Do not bring that home.
Just absolutely cannonball it over the fucking fence, mate. It's insane, man. It's insane. Like, everything's just going soft and shit. Like, obviously we have the resources there to help people out, to acclimatize them to the current conditions. But then there's some extremes. It's just like, holy shit, man. Like, in gaming, for me to explain this to you, and people listening will understand this, but do you know what teabagging is?
Oh, yeah, I do, mate. Keep it private. Keep it in the bedroom, eh?
Hey, we're talking about fucking English breakfast tea here, okay? Calm down.
Okay.
So there was some guys teabagging in esports and shooting. They're characters, okay? They're characters. They're characters. Nothing on stage, okay? But they were doing that and shooting bodies and stuff because they were just absolutely wiping them up all up the floors and stuff, up the walls. And they've gotten in trouble because they were teabagging. It's unsportsmanlike, even though it just happens. It's just the same as shit talking on a footy field.
So what's it called for gamers? They teabag each other.
Teabag, yeah. Like, if I'm versing you in a Call of Duty match, it was 100%. I'm going to be teabagging the shit out of you, bro. Like, after I kill you, you run up and just do the little teabag, you know, the little... Surely
mate, I'm happy for you. No, maybe behind like a tank or something, and I'll just get on the floor and just teabag me.
Just go for the teabags. The teabags, man. It needs to happen. But although it probably couldn't happen on a soccer field or a footy field, it'd be a little bit weird. But after you tackle someone, you go for the teabag.
Yeah, I've never seen someone get teabagged on a footy field, and I've seen a lot of things.
Yes, absolutely. But look, man, moving forward, let's go to some locker room stuff, if possible, if we can reach into that. What's probably like one of the most memorable like locker room things, or just things that have happened within a footy club, that you just hold on to and just live in your head rent free?
Mate, they're probably in the locker room stuff's probably the best memories, apart from footy trips, are the best memories you have. Like, so you walk in every morning and go straight to the locker room, and it's just something always happening, like always something random happening, like a story going around, or, you know, whatever it may be. So nothing really sticks out that I can probably tell you, and not get cancelled. But like it's just an unbelievable place to be, and all my happy memories just come from being in the locker room. Like, don't know, like you share all your experiences together. So boys that aren't getting picked or boys that are getting injured or someone's going really well, whatever it may be, all get them go in there and bond together. So
Yep.
the heart and souls of, I know people say that certain people are the heart and souls of footy clubs, but in terms of bringing all the players together in one space where they can just be them and not be worried about who's listening or anything like that, the locker room, the change room is where just everyone comes to bond. So they're unreal.
And how important do you reckon it is to have blokes time and time away from absolutely everyone?
Yeah, super important. It's super important because at the end of the day, all those footy players are going through similar things. Either they're not getting picked or they're injured or they're going really well, whatever it may be. So to go and have that space and to talk, and sometimes, you don't even need to talk, you just need to share a joke or forget about something that's happened outside the locker room. So they're super important. And as I said, all my great times that I had at footy club I'm sure would have been inside the locker room.
Love that. Love that. And
Teabag each other.
And teabagging in the locker room. I love that. Plenty of teabagging in there. But moving on, segueing from this topic, I just want a little bit of inspiration stuff from you here. I said that you were saying that it was important for you to do some studying whilst you were as a player. You never really got that opportunity from what I recall in this conversation. How important do you reckon it is now for the fellas coming through the system now to really focus on that and set themselves up outside of footy for the future?
Mate, massive. And people would come into our clubs and they'd do a speech about, oh, yeah, like we really want you to study or, give you an example of when someone didn't and how much it set them back. And, as an 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever it was, year old, you're like, yeah, whatever. Like that won't be me. I'm going to play 400 games and win 20 flags and be a 10-time Brownlow medalist. But it's not the case. So if I had my time over again, I would have 100% invested as much time as I physically could into studying something or even doing like a one-day internship somewhere and just learning something I was passionate about that could eventually one day be a career. But when you're young, you're super naive to the world and the possibilities of what might happen. So, it's just, and in saying that, it's super tough. Like you get 1 day a week as a footy player. So when you're in season, you get, I think normally it's a Wednesday off. Every other day you are training, doing some sort of training, meetings, like they're full days, full work days. And when that day comes around that you have off, the last thing that you want to do is to be sitting in the classroom or on the online lecture, wherever it may be. So while saying that I would have really loved to have done more study, I do get that it's super hard to do it.
Absolutely. And it's kind of the similar. Look, I'm not super close with anyone in the AFL system, but I'm close with the players that are in pro esports and whatnot. And content is a massive thing. Probably the best person and player doing it right now in AFL system would be Robbo. That insight to the change rooms and the training and all that type of stuff. He gets that approved weekly by the Brisbane Lions staff, which is great because having that little bit of an insight, he's the only person doing it. Like, this guy's making a fucking fortune. I don't know if anyone else is actually like clicking onto this, but this guy's setting himself up to get better sponsorships during his time at Brisbane. But he's also setting himself up for a career post-footy because he's coming towards the end of his career. It was something that I've got into Jack Viney's head about. I'm like, mate, you got to do that, brother. You got to do that. Nah, man, it's all about the destiny. Viney loves destiny. I remember seeing a video of him the other day punching a punching bag, and the boys were saying, yeah, that's how he is when you tell him that destiny sucks. So good old Vines. But how important is it, do you reckon, that some of the lads get into like content creation even as a different path?
Mate, massive. Like if it's big content creation, I know a lot of players are big gamers, and it varies from I know kind of based amount of games like COD, 2K. That's about as good as it gets to me. Fortnite, obviously, but I know a lot of the boys are right into it and they're super talented in what they do. So whether it's that or another thing that they're interested, just anything they can do to use the spotlight while they have it. So I'm big on lately growing your footy career, yes, but also your commercial values. Like every player has a commercial value at the moment, whether it be little or a lot. Like exhaust everything that you can out of AFL football because they will boot you when they're done with you.
Yep.
But they have the club, the AFL system as a whole have no issue with booting you when they're done with you. And why not try and milk them the same way that they'll use you? So yeah, that'd be my massive bit of advice to players coming through now. Get as much as you can out of it.
For sure. Like you look at Travis Boak, Christian Petrarca, like they have advertisements everywhere. They're sponsored by Red Bull. It's kind of just like, well, that's where you can kind of set yourself up as a an influencer sort of thing outside of football. You get those paid deals and you get, I don't know how well everyone else pays around here for influencers to post stories, but you get fucking $3,000 a pop just to post a story for 24 hours.
It's great, yeah.
It's great. Shit like that. Yeah.
It actually is. Like, why not do it? Like, the way I always say some people when I ask about it is if you're the best AFL player for 10 years and say you average $1 million a year, you're looking at 10 million. By the time the tax man comes out, they take half of that. 5 million isn't enough for you to live off for the rest of your life. Like, It's just not. So why not find a way to make more money post your football career? And I don't think enough players have probably been given the chance to do that. So I think AFL managers and AFL management will change massively in the next 5 years in terms of getting those opportunities for players. So at the moment, an AFL manager just looks after your contract and gets you some boots every year. Yep. And then take their 3% at the end of it. So, yeah, I cannot emphasize it enough. I'm sure there's some players here to listen to this podcast. Like, milk it.
Absolutely. Go for it, man. Go for it. And hit me up if you want to play some games, guys. Okay? Slide into the DMs at GFreak.
May as well, man. Again, like you, milk it while you can.
Just go for it, man. Go for it. But it's a learning journey for everyone as well. Like, I know that if I went down a different path and wasn't in gaming, I wouldn't know how to sit behind a camera and vlog and shit like that. So it is quite a scary pathway to take as well. The only other guy that I know that does it as well in NRL would be like Jacob Host. Young fella, plays video games, but then also has his own little like gaming segment and whatnot on the Rabbitohs channel. So you've got people like that are really mixing and mashing with those different audiences that aren't even tapped into. Like, if you guys are a player and you're listening, it's the easiest market ever. You've got not even 5 people doing it in your whole league, which is literally full of hundreds of people. It's just the easiest shit ever. Like, why not?
Literally.
The question is, why not?
I think the big thing is, and just on that question, it might not be the answer, but I think it's the majority is people are so scared about what others think. Like,
yeah,
I know for me, and you'll know this more, as much as I do. When you start something, the biggest thing you think about is like, what will other people think about me? Like, what if it gets 0 views? Like, if it gets 0 views, awesome. No one's fucking seen it. So you're in the same spot you were. But if it gets 2 views, awesome. Now you're starting to get some views. People are seeing what you're doing. Then it grows and grows and grows. So why not? Like literally the biggest hurdle and issue is just doing it. Like, why not try and create something that could be massive? Because if you don't, all good. Or if you have a crack and then you're in the same spot as you were prior to doing it, like, you've literally lost nothing and you could have gained so much.
Exactly, man. And that's the other thing as well. Like, even look at you, man. Like, right now you have a really successful podcast. You've brought yourself back from being on Big Brother, and you've become like super back in the scene and in the space again, which is extremely impressive. And so coming off that, the Big Brother experience would have been something that is pretty cool. I remember watching that as a kid, like the Ginger Ninja Friday night games and all that type of stuff. Something a little bit different this time when you were on there. How was that experience in itself? Because they advertised you as an AFL footballer. You got so much gas. I love that, bro. That was huge. So break that down for me, man.
Yeah, they advertised me as a star, so immediately they lied to everyone. I was an AFL star. I was an AFL. That's it. It was good though. It was great. It was I was in there for 42 days and like you said, I loved Big Brother growing up. Like, I used to watch Friday night games. I used to watch it back then when it was literally like a day at 7 p.m. was literally like the whole day that they'd cut up like for an hour and just showed the most random, boring stuff. But for some reason, it was unreal to watch. And then like you watch up late and they're all just sleeping or just talking and like nothing would happen, but you still watch.
Yeah.
So doing it was a good experience. It was different, my series. Like, it was a bit more like the old Big Brother, but more like Survivor, mixed into one. So it was a great experience. I was in there for 42 days, and about day 3, I was over it. I was like, get me out of here. This absolutely sucks. No phone, no contact to anyone. At the start, you're on rations with food. So you're literally starving, no coffee, you're bored. So a lot of people don't know that, while on TV, it looks like they're always doing something. You're literally doing something for 1 hour a day, every day. The
Yeah.
other 23 hours, you are doing nothing.
Yep.
Or, you're in interviews talking to Big Brother so they can cut it up to make it look like this amazing day.
Yep.
But it was good. In saying that, it was good. It's obviously helped massively with what I'm doing now. And yeah, it was tough though. Like, I don't recommend it for people who just think it would be easy. Like, it was fucking tough.
Yeah, okay. 42 days is a long time. It's a month and a quarter. It is something I've always wanted to go on to. I don't know if I'd be able to get on there or not. I don't know how hard it is to get on there and whatnot, but they could advertise me as a star gamer.
You can, mate. You're getting there, mate.
That.
Star gamer.
Star gamer.
Bagger,
no one would fucking contest it. No.
No way, mate.
Just
and if the challenge is gaming, you're sweet.
Yeah, the challenge is game. I'm sweet, but then I can't tell people that I'm a gamer because then they'll fucking vote me out.
Yeah, true, and that's part of it. It's all strategy. That's a big crazy thing. People don't see that. People are like, oh, it's just get him out. Like, but for us, when I was playing it, it is all a massive game of strategy. Like, as you said, with physical challenges, like, without being super arrogant, like, I fancy myself to win most physical things, but you literally can't do that or show how good you are physically if that's your strength in the first 3 weeks. Because if you do that, people will be like, well, fuck this. He's winning every physical challenge. Like, most of them going to be physical. Let's get him out of here so we have a chance.
Yep.
And like, who you hang out with, align yourself with, who's your clique, like, do you have each other's back? Like, it is so strategic. And in that house, you start going crazy. So when there's a group of people in the corner, like, just having a chat, they could be talking about how they're going to wash their socks in a minute. But you think that they're talking about how to get rid of you. So you start playing all these scenarios in your head that don't even make any sense. Like, it's crazy.
Absolutely, man. And I noticed, looking back at your series, that was probably the only one I watched. That one and the one after, and then I stopped. I haven't watched this one. But with your one, I know that you were always like strategically always negotiating whilst in a challenge and like saying, hey, if I let go now and let you win, can you like keep me safe? Yeah, no worries. And all that type of shit, bro. I'm like, you fucking sly dog, bro. I love that.
I know. Well, that's part of it, mate. I didn't want to, like, there's no point in me winning because, again, if you win a challenge, like, you have so much pressure. And with that pressure, people are like, well, fuck you. He put up either yourself, like me, or he put my friends up for eviction. What a fuckhead. Why would he do that?
Yeah.
No, fuck him. Let's get rid of him. Like, I didn't want that responsibility, like, at all. Like, you don't want to put yourself in the firing line if you don't have to. So that's why I would, halfway through a challenge, be like, you know what? You win this, just don't put me up, and then go down.
Yeah. And then also, you don't, if it's an endurance challenge, which the chicks just froth that shit, mate. They just gun it out. But if it's something like that, you're like, fuck this, bro. Fuck this shit. Like, you saw, you're achy, like, you were looking forward to it. It's like the 1 hour of the day that you actually do something, but then you're like, nah, fuck this, bro. In the first 5 minutes, it's just chalk.
No, literally. And some of them are like that. A lot of them were like on camera because the episodes are only an hour, but the challenge we would do would go for like 6 hours. Like, it was fucked. Like, we did one in the rain where you had to hold your arm up and put a finger in like a little spout, and above that was a big water tank, and every time you put your finger down your arm to rest it, the water would fall down, and the last one with water in their tank would win. So we were outside, pouring rain, freezing cold, for hours on end with our hands in the air, just trying to get this water bucket in. And we were all like so determined. This is the first few weeks, so we were all super determined to win challenges, hang around as much as we could. So we get to like 4 hours in, and Big Brother is like, literally, someone just leave, like, someone stop. We need to like cut this up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So then everyone's like, nah. Anyway, 10 minutes goes past. right, the next person to drop their finger, I'll give them a free phone call to home. Okay, someone goes. 10 minutes, he goes again. I'll give someone a free steak and wine. It goes again. He was literally baiting us to
Yeah.
stop going so long. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, it's nuts, man. I do recall that. Yeah, fuck that, bro. Fuck that shit. I remember there was one time this chick like wanted a tea and stuff. I can't remember her name. I don't think she was on your one and whatnot. But yeah, it was just all the challenges. I don't even know. And props to the people that come up with these challenges, bro. What the fuck? Like,
twisted, man.
It's
twisted.
Nuts. They must have been the directors at Saw, and thought of that type of shit, because that is some weird shit.
Really.
But look, man, bouncing off that one, that brought you back into the media a lot, which was massive. And we were just discussing before about how you really took advantage of the fact that you had brands wanting to work with you and all these opportunities that arose. What was the feeling for you after that bounce back, for you career wise, influencer wise, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I think before we spoke about how most players don't have the career that they wanted to have, so they haven't won premierships, they haven't played lots of games. And I started, sharing my experiences on what it was like to be 90% of the other players, where you're not getting picked and it's shit and it's terrible and all these funny things happen to you that, you look back on now and laugh. And that started getting the following. Then Big Brother happened and Instagram, and overnight it almost seemed like people know your name and all that. So it was cool. Initially, it's really cool and it's fine and it's great and everything's awesome. But then it comes to a point where it grows and grows and grows. And you're like, all right, now this is generally serious. Like, I still do it. I don't go to nightclubs because I don't want. It's not that I don't want to. I don't feel comfortable with people noticing me. I know that sounds super arrogant, but I don't feel comfortable in those environments because I just don't want to be thinking about that when I'm trying to have a good night out.
Yep.
So, and that's all first world problems. Like, I know that people will listen to this saying, "Oh, what a baby! Like, he can't go to a nightclub." But for me, it's like it just comes with it a little bit. Like, I'd rather. So much of my life has now been showcased to everyone else that I do want to keep, things private to myself. So when I go have a beer with a couple of mates, I don't want to be in the public eye because I just want to enjoy that moment with them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with when you get a following or a bit of a presence online, those moments can't really happen because someone sees you and they want to take a photo or chat to you for half an hour, and it's great. And I love that, and I love meeting people, and I know it makes their day, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm also super conscious that I doesn't make me the most comfortable sometimes.
Yeah, and it kind of takes away from that. Like, some of your mates might be like, "Oh, here we go again," and it might take it away from their experience. It might jeopardize, God say it, you actually getting invited out with them anymore and all that type of shit, because they're like, fucking, it's just annoying that they have to deal with it as well and whatnot. And also it can be a little bit dangerous as well. Some people might want to fucking tackle you to the ground or some shit, and just weird shit like that. It's like for example, Barry Hall or Fev going to play local footy again. Like, everyone just targets them. Like, they just try to snipe you and shit. But yeah, handling that type of stuff is crazy. I've never experienced it. I've been asked for like 5 signatures in my whole 5 years that I've been doing this shit for, which is pretty cool for me. But yeah, going to places and trying to enjoy those times with your friends and not having to worry about doing that stuff. I totally understand you, because whilst you do love your community, it's just that having your own time as well outside in public to enjoy those things pre that influencer size and whatnot is really enjoyable and something you cherish quite a lot.
Yeah, man. And the only reason I am Daniel Gorringe is because of all those people. So I love that, and I love that, and I love meeting people, and I love when someone says you're so funny, and I love that video I did or whatever it may be. Like, that makes me feel so awesome. Like, that's the biggest compliment that I can get. But I'm also super aware that it does make me anxious when random people you've never met know a lot about you. Like, it's just it's a crazy complex. So but again, like, if that's the biggest issue of my life, then I'm going okay.
It's not bad. It's not the worst this year, but imagine, dude, imagine being like Jay-Z, Kanye, and all that type of shit, bro.
Oh,
Fuck, man.
crazy.
Like you can't
Crazy.
even go for a walk and stuff. Like imagine during like COVID, like peak COVID, and everyone like had to wear a mask and all that type of shit. How many celebrities do you reckon got around in masks and hoods and all that type of shit and just had to walk?
Mate,
How many do you reckon?
100%. That would have been like literally, you nailed it there. They would have loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it that they had to mask up and stuff. And
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine, like, I could not imagine being a big, big celebrity. Like, that would be not being able to leave to go to grocery shopping or fill your car up. Like, and again, to what I said previously, it all comes with it. And I'm sure they're super thankful for their supporters and stuff and how much money they're making off them. But it's just a different life. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Look, some people also don't. Whilst they are passionate, they also don't understand the boundaries of some things as well, and they go a little bit too far, and they get a little bit too much in your personal space, and they don't understand that, and that's totally okay. You know, that comes down to their upbringing and whatever age they are. They may not understand that. That's cool, but you know, it does come at a bit of a cost as well, a little bit conflicting. And say, for example, someone's right up in your personal space and they're doing the wrong thing, and you're just like, "Can I please have some personal space?" Then they go around and be like, "Oh, fucking douchebag." It's just like, well,
Yeah.
hang on, man. Like, that's a little bit unfair. But look, man, you're not gonna please everyone, and you are what you are. You're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, but you just got to be yourself, which is the main thing. And that's the hard pressure that I feel sorry for kids like growing up nowadays when they've got to have these big asses, big tits, small waists, all that type of stuff. Dudes have to have massive fucking quads and arms and all that type of shit.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So it's there's a lot of pressure, like just to grow up. Like growing up nowadays isn't how like when you and I grew up, where you know shit was like 50 cents at a candy store on the corner shop, and you used to go there and ride your bike after school, and you know you see your friends the next day, and you go home and play with your Legos. Now you can't escape it, bro. Like you're on your phone, and like you got your iPad or whatever, and it's fucking nuts, man.
Mate, crazy. I think the big one with that is like TikTok now is more so than ever like made everyone want to be someone. Like everyone thinks that, and you can do it, you can blow up overnight, and it can only take one video, but no one wants to put in like the work that it normally takes to build a following and supporters. Like that's a years of work. Like you literally, yes, you can hit the jackpot with a video and it can snowball from there, but that is so rare. Like kids these days haven't grown up, they have grown up. They haven't gone through what you and I probably have gone through, where you literally do content or work for years and years and years, and you build up a following base. Now, people want it so badly on TikTok, like they're pretending to be someone they're not, or they're, you know, impressing people that they don't even know to hopefully get to that angle of being Insta famous or TikTok famous, when it actually just takes like a shitload of hard work and being super honest with yourself and where you're at.
Absolutely, man. It's pretty easy to get wrapped up in it too. Like, you know, I spoke to you about this previously, I think, that when you post a video, you just kind of keep getting notifications in your phone. You kind of get obsessive and you're like, fuck, why did this video not get that many likes and all that type of stuff? And like for me personally, I always post, now I post in Ghost. I don't know about you. Do you post in Ghost?
Right. Yeah. I won't touch it. I won't even, once I record something, I'll do the edits, but I'll never watch it back.
Yeah.
Once it's live.
Yeah, you just put it out there. Don't worry about the numbers. Look, myself, it's a little bit hard because I have to look at my analytics to see if I'm hitting the right fucking shit. At least with you, you're established and you know your brand super, super well and whatnot. But IG is just a huge, stable thing that you can just rely on. All you have to do is hit 10K, and then you kind of snowball from there. It's just hitting that 10K. But yeah, even like in live streaming, which you may not have seen on Twitch, a lot of people come and go. Like I've seen over 5 years, nearly 6 years now, been doing this shit, that so many people have come, so many people have gone. People had their blow ups, but generally the people who have the blow ups, they're like first off the scene. They're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
So many people
they cash out.
Yeah, they get in, they do their thing for like a year or two, and then they piss off, and you never see them again. You're like, where the fuck did they go, bro?
Literally, that's the tough thing with content and content creators, that I think people they start off doing it because they just love making content. So like for you and me, I love just making funny videos and trying to make someone laugh. You know, I didn't really care who it is, and then you kind of get big and get a following, and then your mindset changes. Like, oh, why didn't that work, that one? Maybe I'll try and do something different. I'll do something that I know I don't find funny, but I think my audience will find funny. And once you start doing that, I believe you start losing your way. So now I'll post something because I want to post it.
Yep.
Like, I don't care about, I think it's funny and it might make you laugh, but I'll post it because it makes me feel good and I think it's funny.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that you probably don't have like a page or forum that you chat to your community, would you?
Nah, I don't. Nah, just in comment sections, but nothing.
Yeah,
okay. Just MySpace.
Yeah, see, with me, like, with me, I'm always like chatting to people, like even at work, like I'm always asking people, what do you think? Because feedback is crucial. I don't give a shit what I think to a degree, but as long as feedback is coming in and the audience is there, then you create for them, because that's what you're doing at the end of the day. But getting the feedback is so crucial to understanding what to put out, what not to put out, and everything else in between, so you're not shooting in the dark. And that's one thing that a lot of people seem to be doing as well. Like they just shoot in the dark, they get viral here and there, but then they give out advice, and that you're like, well, what advice are you going off? You posted one video and you just suddenly popped off. Like, all these a lot of cowboys in the space and whatnot. And vultures in the space too, the people that are just charging a fuck ton of money for consulting, and they've just done small amount of things and whatnot, which is quite bizarre and whatnot. But going on from this, what's like the most important lesson that you've learned in your career so far?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the most important thing that I've learned is that you'll never ever master something, like, ever, and you'll never ever reach your potential. I don't think. I think there's been times, whether it been through my footy or now through my content, where I thought, you know what, I've done it. Like, that's me. I've reached the apex. I'm done. And then, you're out of there. Like, you can be very, very good at something, but you'll never master it. I think once you think you've mastered it, you'll stop all your drive. To keep pushing and see where you can go. So I've learned that, definitely. I've learned a lot about people. Relationships are massive to me now, when they probably weren't when I was a young kid.
Yep.
I really value relationships, whether it's a chat here or there with someone, or if it's my best mates or family, whatever it might be. I'm massive on valuing relationships and investing in people. Across all facets. So that might look like, for me now, I've got a new thing where if I'm talking to someone, I'll give you my undivided attention. So my phone goes down, my pen goes down, I'll give you 100% of me. Otherwise, I just don't think it's fair to the person who's I'm trying to communicate with. So I think they're two things I've learned. Yeah, valuing my relationships and just knowing that you're not going to master anything. So just keep learning and pushing the boundaries.
Absolutely. And relationships, I can absolutely relate to you with. I believe that's extremely important, man. So I know it goes back to the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know in the industry.
Yeah.
And it really kind of is. And that's a prime example of my job. I don't know about yours and whatnot, but it comes down to, as long as you have a good attitude and whatnot, we can always teach you. It's pretty much that. And you're willing to learn, good attitude, then we can teach you whatever the fuck it is in life and whatnot. As you said, and whatnot, even like if you're a tradie, if you're someone in the office, if you're someone in the gaming space or football space, just remembering how you got there and crediting the people that helped you get there along the way, and you have to, give them a phone call, and because that stuff goes a long way. Like, I just read on Twitter before that my mate said that one of his work best friends actually went home after he spoke to him and then just kind of took his own life, which is really sad. Quite a change of topic here, and that's extremely important. But I really want to chat to you about the list cloggers. Bit of a change of gear here, because I know that'll put a smirk on your face. List cloggers, man. When did that all begin, bro?
Crazy. So list cloggers is just a really laid back version of the old boring footy shows and radio stations that take their footy seriously. We talk about like the worst shit and all the lighthearted stuff of footy. So that started. Dill Buckley, he finished footy. No, he was playing footy and started Dylan Friends, his podcast now. And while he was doing that, he obviously knew his time at GWS was up. So he got that going. And then I'd finished up already. Anyway, he finally finishes up at GWS and he says, listen, we should do a podcast together. I think it'd be really good. And I was probably in the stage post-footy, lost, didn't know what I was doing really, where I wanted to go. And I kept pushing off saying, you know what, for sure, one day we'll do it. One day we'll do it. Okay, maybe next year, maybe next month, whatever it may be. And then after Big Brother, COVID had hit. So I ran out of excuses. I was like, okay, I literally have nowhere to be. I have nothing going on. Like I have to say yes to him. So after him bugging me, it took literally a global virus for me to do it. So we did it. We recorded 8 episodes in our first in 2019, maybe 2019. 8 episodes went really well. We did what's called List Cloggers, so we're supposed to run alongside the season, so we have something to talk about. We ran during Christmas, so I don't know how we got any listens, but we did.
Yep.
And then it's just snowballed from there. So season 2, we did a whole season. And then now we're into a season again and doing live shows and doing meet and greets with our fans, which is unbelievable. So it's from doing something that going from something I didn't believe in to now doing it. It's been crazy. So it just goes to show you how much COVID can force you into doing something.
Absolutely, man. You kind of had the gun to your head there. Another thing for people that are listening right now, definitely go check out List Cloggers, ladies and gentlemen listening, which is Dan and Dillons podcast. But another cool thing that I found real cool, I've got to give you more gas for this. I gave you gas in the office, but got to give you gas, man. Like the live event, that's fucking sick, bro. That's fucking sick.
Yeah,
Do you cool. Like look back at it and like, fuck, bro, that's sick, bro.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. It's sometimes I don't think I don't really sit back and try and celebrate or give myself a pat on the back. I don't know. I think it's a bit like when we spoke about when you just post and ghost, like you just do it and then you're trying to forget about it.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that when I do this kind of stuff. Like it's so cool and I love it. And I cannot believe people come out in the middle of the week in cold winter Melbourne nights to come spend an hour or 2 hours with us at an event. Like that is unbelievable that people do that. So it's super amazing. And I know I don't give us enough credit for it or give myself enough credit for it. But one day I will, and I'll look back and go, that is absolutely fucking wild that these people back in the day used to come out, spend their own money on our merch. Like it's crazy. And again, like none of that is possible without the followers and the fans. Like otherwise it's just me and Deal talking to each other all week and nothing happening. So I'm very aware that show doesn't exist and doesn't have a community unless people buy into it. So I'm super, super grateful.
Absolutely. And we were talking as well about how long did it take you to get your first sponsorship for that podcast?
Yeah.
How many episodes?
So we had literally no sponsors on our podcast for 50 episodes. So I think we've done 70 now. So that's two and a bit years of just recording in a studio. Deal had to buy all the equipment. We had to literally, money out of or Deal saw his pocket because it's his company now, just to keep the lights on and get us to record every night. So he took a massive punt on the show as well. So he obviously believed in it and wanted to do it so badly, and it's paid off now for him. But for the first 50 episodes, it was literally just me, Deal, producer Sam, in a small room recording and sending it out each week and hoping people will listen. And then, episode 51, I guess, was when someone came along and said, we give you, X amount of dollars just to say that you like this brand. And we're like, oh, how good's this? We've done it. Like, oh, awesome. We'll say whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super recent that we've started doing some commercial stuff. But it's taken ages.
Yeah, wow. And you guys are on a weekly schedule, correct?
Weekly, yeah. So Dill's actually away at the moment. Is at the PGA in England.
Oh,
So
wow.
we had a bit of a week hiatus where we weren't able to record just for the time differences. But we're week in, week out normally, and we run right through from about February to December each year. So I did 11 months.
Yeah, nice, man. That's huge. And so you would have got that sponsorship probably about 6 months ago, really, which is freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, crazy. So yeah, first one, and then to live shows. And we were doing stuff like I remember our first couple of things. We were doing stuff just for the opportunity, just to try and get someone to take a chance on us with this paid sponsorship. So we were.
Yeah.
I think we got asked to go somewhere, and we were carting our own gear around and saying, "Yeah, we'll do a show there. That's all good. Don't worry about payment. Rah rah. Or just get us a few free beers." Like we were dying for someone to take a chance on us. So, um, again, like I said before, but we're talking about everyone wants to be famous, but no one really wants to, do the hard yards and understand how long it actually takes. Like you literally just have to cut your teeth for, sometimes years before you see anything grow.
Absolutely. And that's what's some advice for people that are wanting to get into podcasts and their goal is to just make money? Is that's the wrong mindset, or what are your views about that? And what's some advice?
Yeah, I don't think that works. I think you've got it all
Yeah.
backwards. I think you really, if you want to get into podcasting, find your topic, and then find out if it's niche enough, because this industry is super saturated now. Like everyone has a podcast and everyone's talking. So find what you're really passionate about, and then once you do that, go and research. Is anyone else doing this in this space? And if they are, how do I make mine different? How do I capture that audience?
Yep.
And once you've worked that out, then just do it. That's the biggest thing I think for me is literally get a microphone, get some good gear, and just record and see how it comes out. Because when I started, I'm sure you're the same. It was a super good idea to start a podcast, but when you start recording and just you're in a room by yourself right now, you're literally talking to yourself most of the time. Like it is so weird. Or you're with someone else and you're having a conversation. So
Yeah.
for me and Dill, we're great mates and we have combos all the time about everything else. But when you put a microphone in front of us, everything changes. Like you
Yeah.
stop acting the way you are.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. Just do it, give it a test run, find your market, and don't expect to make money out of it straight away. Just grow it, and eventually things will turn. I truly believe if you invest as much time as you want and you can into something, you will reap the rewards of it eventually.
Absolutely. See, the way I think about it with my podcast, right, is I'm thinking real long term. I'm thinking uni student, right, at uni, that's researching esports because it's finally become a certificate course, and then trying to look up like an esport. I guess this isn't really esport, this content, this podcast, but this one's more about content creation. But people are looking at an esport / content creation podcast in Australia. Is literally the only one. So they could use it as a research project. Shout out to you if you guys are listening in 2035. How you doing?
Hello.
How you doing? But that's just what I'm thinking about, and it's one of those things where it's important to look into that and to understand it and see the future with where your things can go and have a long-term goal. But with your podcast over there, you've actually started another podcast as well. Was it 300?
200 plus, 300
300 plus.
big boy. 200
Love that.
plus, yeah. 200 plus is
200 plus. Okay.
Same with Dill's so with Dill's company, producer, he did a production company. So he started another one with me, Nick Butler, and Big Sammy Draper from Essendon, the big ruckman. So, and that's been unbelievable as well. Much I know, doing list cloggers and seeing that up like 200 plus is fast tracked so much quicker than what list cloggers did. But 200 plus would only happen because Dill and I literally grinded for years and years to make that work. And now fortunate for this one to fast track. But a podcast similar about footy, it's more tailored towards the big men that play footy. So ruckman and tall forwards and whatever it may be, real light heart, touch on footy. And it's good to have an actual player involved in the podcast. Like I think with it not being attached to a footy podcast where the football club oversees it and there's sponsors you look after and you can't say this or that, having Big Drapes come out and record and just be kind of not disconnected from the footy club, but Sam Draper, the person,
Yep.
is unreal. I think that's a massive reason why people listen in.
I love that. And now it totally makes sense why I scored 200 plus, because ruckmen are over 200. Imagine calling
300
like
plus would be a big boy.
That'd be a big fucking unit, hey.
Literally just a giant out there. We only have one listener. It's that one guy who's 300 plus.
It's that one guy. There's something here for me.
Yeah.
It looks like in that deep voice. Yeah, you're talking to me.
They're talking to me.
Love that. Next week's topic, hitting your head on door frames. Love that.
That happens to me.
Yeah, that happens to me. Having sex in bed. How to do it.
Yeah. I know how to do it. How do you guys do it?
That would be actually, now thinking about that would be a fucking difficult task. You'd be like up there, they'd be like down there. That's weird. That's a weird one.
It'd be tough.
That'd be tough.
Big teabagging.
There's plenty of teabagging happening. But what were some of your hobbies growing up as a kid? Any hobbies or idols that you looked up to that you used as motivation?
Yeah. Hobbies as a kid, I didn't grow up on the river, but we spent a lot of time on the river wakeboarding and kneeboarding and things like that. So when I wasn't playing footy, I was massively into like getting up to the river and fishing and being outdoors. And I guess someone I'd idolized growing up, weirdly, David Beckham. I don't know why. Like, yeah, I watched soccer, but I don't know. I think he was just a figure, and seeing how good he was and how he just always impacted the game. Maybe somewhere deep down, I wanted to be like that, but with footy, I don't know. But yeah, I had a very good upbringing, mate. Nothing traumatic really happened. I'm pretty lucky. Like I like the normal things. I got along with my mates, so I was lucky. But I do know that a lot of people don't have that upbringing. So yeah, for me growing up, it was just a normal childhood.
Black and white stuff, mate. That's always good to have that type of childhood. But let's speak about some traumatizing stuff. Maybe. What is your weirdest DM? Surely you've got one. Surely you've got.
Oh, mate, yeah. Currently, right now, some bloke wants me to send me my feet to him, and he'll pay me money.
Bullshit.
Yes, he keeps messaging me weekly, and he got a close up of my foot when I was on Big Brother, and every week he'll message me the same close up photo saying, "I will pay you for foot photos, like to name your price."
What?
I was like, okay, that's not. I was like, Mum, stop messaging me.
Dude, what the fuck? Are you
crazy
foot pics, bro? Dude, how much? How much is he offering? Has he said, or has he just said name your price?
As I said, dollar amount. I don't even want to entertain the offer, because if he says something like $20, I'm in.
Yeah, it's. I would have said 15, but anyway, yeah, that's fucking weird. Any more memorable DMs?
No, nothing weird. Just I got a lot of absolute legends who just will roll into my DMs like after a night on the sauce, like saying how much they love me or want me to play for their footy club. So I get weekly hit up to play at local football clubs because someone's had a big night of footy club function and thinks it's play on to try and recruit me, which is great.
Love that. Just name your price. Shoot your shot. Why not?
Literally.
The open mouth always gets the food, you know? So why not?
That's
you don't know till you ask.
That's it.
Last few times I've asked a few chicks this question, and it's quite interesting that they come back to me with one chick. Brit, she had someone offer her thousands of dollars to sit on a bloke's jumper for a week and fart on it all week and then send it back.
Ooh.
Yeah. Another
that
chick.
Was
me. I was like, $1,000. Shit, man. Sheesh. Anyway, there's other ones about, wedgies having a bat and moaning people's names and shit. I don't know. They were like teabagging or something. I don't know, bro. Some weird shit going on there. But mate, whenever I have a chick on the podcast, I'm always asking that question because something weird as fuck comes out, bro.
What comes up? Yeah.
Oh man,
fucking weird
it's
people.
So weird, dude. OnlyFans, man. It's so weird, bro.
Weird.
Absolutely. Actually, speaking of like OnlyFans and that being a blow up, have you noticed on TikTok when you scroll there for inspiration to find out what you want for your next video? Have you seen this Andrew Tate guy? Fucking everywhere.
Andrew Tate, the guy from Romania?
Yeah. He was on. I think he was on Big
Yeah,
Brother.
he is annoying me. I might box him in a minute just to shut him up. He's
That
annoying me at the moment.
that would be huge. The amount of he doesn't even have an account, but he's still fucking everywhere.
Everywhere, crazy. I don't. Yeah, I saw him the other last week. He's pissing me off. I mean, he needs to be put his place.
He needs to go. Apparently, he's a 4-time world champion in like kickboxing.
Oh shit! He beat the shit out of me then.
Yeah, he's a 4-time world champion in kickboxing. He's a fucking freak.
Okay. No, I'll take that back. He beat the fuck out of me.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you'd probably have the reach on him, man. I think I'd back
Mate,
you for
that means absolutely little, mate. He would get inside and rock my shit.
just absolutely rock your ship sideways. Yeah, that would fucking hurt. Yeah, and I can imagine there'd be like so many. Yeah, that guy just cops a lot of hate. But he also has a big following as well. Like a lot of people are saying that he's going to cancel like all what we've worked for with equal women rights and all that type of stuff. I'm like, that's not going to happen. But he does have a cult following, and for a guy that doesn't even have a fucking account, you can't even ban him either.
Huge.
It's ridiculous.
Nah, good on him. Good on him, I say.
Have you seen how he actually like gets his videos out there?
Doesn't he go on other people's Twitches or something?
Oh, he's done that recently too. I watched that live the other day. He was just flaming a couple of guys. But that's what he's doing now to get out there even more. Just using these guys who average 100,000 viewers and just sit there and talk shit against it.
Crazy.
Just gets viewers like that.
Smart man.
Yeah, and then gets clips everywhere. Like this guy is taking your advice. He must have listened to this podcast before he's done it and just milking the cash cow. But he pretty much pays you like $1 every 1,000 views that you get on a video that involves him in it. So for his Hustlers University. So what happens is that everyone clips him and then they put videos out of him. And so that's why there's a billion different accounts of videos of him doing these speeches, because they get paid money from him for posting videos of him. So it's the most amazing scheme I think I've ever seen.
Crazy. That's a smart man. He's worked it out. As we said, you got to work it out somehow.
This guy's got it fucking clicked out, man. As we get towards the tail end of the podcast, I've got a couple more questions, and one of them is, what do you see your like goal in the next few years being, if you've set some future aspirations?
Yeah, I definitely have. I have heaps of goals, and I think about me, and I don't know if it's good or bad. They just like they come and go, so all the time. And if something comes and goes enough times, then I'll probably look into it more and explore it, because it's obviously doing something back there that's burning away. The big one at the moment, I definitely want to one day have my own company in either brand management or some kind of management that works with companies in marketing. That's something I'm super passionate about. Now that we spoke about the player management and where that's going in the next few years, I think I want to do something in that space, in trying to change how that looks, and how managers can work with players to not only grow their portfolio and their playing career or commercial career, but look after their mental health. I think there's a way that can be done better. So those are probably the two things I have massive inspirations and my sights on, but I can tell you about. But as I said, there's the beer thing that Sippy just came and went, and then it came and went, and now it's a real thing. So I'm sure between now and tomorrow or the day after, there'll be a million things that come to my head that I think are a good idea. But those things are definitely the ones that I've got my sights set on.
Absolutely, and I think that there's some things that you definitely would look up to as people that listen to you or watch this podcast, that looking forward ahead it's always changing. It's an evolving thing that you have to adapt to and change. And if you can't go through the conventional front door, you've got to break a fucking window, climb through the chimney, come underneath the house to the ventilation system, shit like that. You got to work your way in there, and you just got to be, I guess, adaptable. You've got to make sure that you do that and move with the climate of how things are moving. But what's something else that you would recommend to people doing if they're wanting to take this career path of managing influencers?
It's super tough. And now it's even tougher because everyone wants to be an influencer, and everyone thinks that it's easy, and they see the brand deals and all that, and must think the cash must just roll in. They don't have to work another day in their life, but it's not the case. So I think the big one is going to be making sure that when an influencer comes in, how do you make sure that they have a long career, and what's a long career in the influencer space? Like, I don't know. Probably ideally, if I had to guess, it's 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So how do you build that brand that is going to withstand, the time that it takes to actually establish yourself and make good money? How do you make sure that's really healthy? And post that, when do you tell an influencer that they need to start not seeing their sights on something, but building something that will be bigger than them? So for me, I'm very aware that there's not many 40-year-old influencers going around, or 35-year-old influencers going around. So I've got 5 to 10 years max of being a so-called influencer.
Yep.
So why don't I build my beer brand? Because that could, and it might not, we don't know. It could be around a lot longer than I will. So what does that look like for other people? That's something I'm super keen to explore more. And as you asked earlier, what are your goals? Well, I'm big on helping people find that out and making sure that they are doing the right things to give themselves the most success.
Absolutely. And it's so important, as you just touched on, that you're self-aware. So you understand that, I guess for you, there's not exactly a time fucking limit. Like there's no 40-year-old influencer unless it's like Andrew Tate, because there's only a very few of them. But as we grow up, our kids and whatnot will be, younger, and they would have grown up around it and whatnot. And same as like gaming and esports, that will be more of a prominent thing. And, esports will probably grow to be the size of an AFL club. That's what we'll have. Like Chiefs, which was in 2014, will probably be as big as Carlton one day. And we're just like laying the grassroots down for that and whatnot. But for this space, for you to come back into it, how different is it compared to like 10 years ago?
Super different, crazy. There was no going viral 10 years ago. Like, that just didn't exist. You were literally Daniel Gorringe from Tea Tree Gully, South Australia, and your suburb knew about you because you played footy, or that was as viral as it got. There was you couldn't connect to people across the world. Like, there was MSN Messenger, like you'd finish school and then go talk to your mates online, but there was no chance that you could make a career in doing videos or posting photos or whatever it may be. So the whole space is totally different. So now I think it'll change again. I think there'll be something else that'll come and take. I think Instagram will stay around for a long time. I think Facebook's trying to work out what they're doing. I think they're pretty lost. TikTok is just shit hot at the moment, and it'll stay shit hot for another 12 months. But I think there'll be another thing soon that will come along and change the way that we use our social media. And that's just the way it will be. So until then, it happened with Vine, when people were on Vine and blowing up and lost their following, and then had to go to Instagram to do it. Now they get lost in the wash. So I guess for creators out there, how are you best going to set yourself up for when that next thing comes, and how you're going to protect your brand as big as possible? But when I was growing up, this was never possible. Like you and I, what we're doing, this never happened.
Yep. Absolutely. It's pretty crazy that how evolution's changed since like 1990 with computers to now what we have, which is our phones, which is a computer. And the world's first computer was probably as big as the bed you're sitting on. Like, it's just nuts. Are you on bed?
Crazy.
Are you on your bed right now?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Great. Okay. Anyway, I don't have a camera in your bedroom. I promise.
I don't know.
It's in the Kleenex box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't read that book.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. But it's very interesting that you actually just said that the average influencer lifespan would be time in the space, not lifespan, is 6 to 12 months, which is very rapid. Like that's insane to me to hear that. So for people that have really stayed relevant for more than 2 years and whatnot, like you look at like Dude Perfect and Chris Smooth and all these guys on YouTube, you're like, holy shit, man, like props to them for staying super relevant to the evolving world that we live in right now. But look, man, is there any final words that you'd like to say or shout out or anything like that before we wrap it up?
Mate, no, nothing that comes to me. I'll say thank you for having me on. Drink Sippy, everyone. It's a great tasting beer. You can go and get it soon in stores. It's online, not online now, but it will be again. So go and grab that. But no, mate, thank you very much for having me on. It's very rare that I go on podcasts at all. Actually, I don't normally jump on a few, but I've known you for a while now and love what you're doing, mate. So fully supporting you, and I do believe you're putting the groundwork that we talk about. That'll you'll reap your rewards soon with the success that's coming your way, mate. So keep doing your thing, and thank you for having me on, mate.
No, I appreciate it, and thanks for giving up your time tonight. As with every guest, I'm always very appreciative because you guys don't have to do that. And you guys just do it because you see the passion that I have, and it kind of rubs off on you guys, as well as just the passion that you guys have for the scene, being content creators or involved in any sort of influencing scene yourselves, that you understand how important it is for the future generation and even your own brand, spreading out to a different market, which this definitely has for you. I don't think many people in this market that are listening right now would know who you are. No offense. It's just purely that's the market. No offense.
Are they living on a rock, are they?
Yeah, they're probably living. No, bro. They're living in their mum's basement, okay? They're gamers.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys.
They don't go outside under rocks, bro. Come on, you should know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's like too campy, man.
True.
But as I said, man, back to it. Appreciate the gas as well. You're a legend for coming on and whatnot. And look, myself and the community wish you all the best with your future endeavors and moving forward and whatnot. And hopefully we cross paths soon. We'll have to get a photo, a departure photo. Okay, we have to get that.
100%.
We will. That. We will. That'll be on the gram. I'll just be like, I met that guy from Big Brother.
I met that shit footy player.
I met the AFL star / guy from Big Brother. Yeah. What'd you come in Big Brother?
Runner-up, mate.
Runner-up. I met the runner-up in Big Brother.
Perfect. We'll do it.
I'll do that. All right. Perfect, man. Perfect. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Make sure to leave it a thumbs up on YouTube, 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple iTunes, as well as if you want to check it out on all the other platforms, audioboom.com/Jacker GFreak. Until then, remember to be safe, stay swollen as always. Boom, baby. Peace.